How to recognize different colors of vaginal discharge. If you just got some sexy, cute lacy underwear and have a whole night planned out with your partner, you're going to the bathroom and taking your pants off before going out on the date. On your underwear you see a big icky blotch of thick sticky discharge. Hi, we will talk about what is normal and what is abnormal about vaginal discharge, what kinds of discharge are normal and what does discharge do. I don't know what's abnormal or if discharge is normal or not. To start this video off, let me say right away that vaginal discharge is completely normal, so I want to emphasize that right away. Whenever every woman gets discharged, she gets a certain quantity of vaginal fluid that leaks out of her vagina because this is how her vagina maintains its health. Your vagina is a queen who keeps herself clean by herself, but how does the vagina do this? Our vaginal discharge is exactly the same as the vaginal discharge that we use, so we now have a nice healthy army of good bacteria inside our vaginal cavity. Infection-causing bacteria are eliminated, as well as anything that should not be there. Think of it as mopping your house. When you clean, it's like that. While dusting, you do a posh, and after that, when you mop, you do not sit around storing dirty pot or water in your home. Your vagina works the same way. You toss it out forever, then it throws the pot or water out, and when the pot or water is completely clean, it feels fine to throw it out, so that's why they all get a little discharge. Sometimes men and women experience vaginal discharge at the same time, and others experience it every day, so I hope it's well established that vaginal discharge is completely normal. However, vaginal discharge can often be a sign of something else. If something doesn't seem right with your vagina, how can you know when it's right? Then anytime your discharge is accompanied by any other symptoms, this could be anything like itching, burning, a peculiar smell to your discharge, or even an excessive amount of discharge. If you get a discharge suddenly out of the blue, there are so many things that can be a symptom of something else, so that discharge basically represents God, the universe, or whatever you believe in. You are blessed because they give you an insight into your health when something is amiss, or if you have any suspicious symptoms when it comes to your discharge. Taking a look at your discharge will make you aware of a problem, and you don't have to keep going for tests to figure out if your vagina is healthy or not. Let's learn more about vaginal discharge and discover if it's abnormal. The first thing you should notice about vaginal discharge is its consistency. Normal vaginal discharge should be sticky, but if it has a different consistency, it might be abnormal. It will look exactly like if you do this with egg whites, or like we did in school if you hold it between your fingers. In essence, vaginal distress with fevicle will look like raw egg white, which is how it really does look. One of the best examples people use is that it looks like creamy or white, or it can be completely transparent. The lining of your uterus can become slightly thicker in the middle of your cycle as well, but usually it is light gray, colorless or creamy white. Anything else is a sign that something is wrong. What kinds of things can go wrong with it? Check to see if you have red discharge. This usually means that your period has started. There is a little blood mixed in your discharge. If, however, you suddenly get a reddish tinge to your discharge during your cycle, or if you see blood in your discharge, you should consult your doctor. A brownish discharge can be a sign of an injury somewhere downstairs, and you should discuss this with your doctor. Apart from this, you can experience a brownish discharge after or right before your period. Your discharge is just blood mixed with your blood, which is brown because of how acidic your vaginal environment is. Our vagina is filled with the vagina's version of lemon juice, so when you put lemon juice on blood, the blood becomes brown. That's because the vagina absorbs all the blood, which causes it to become brown. It'll look brown if there's a tiny bit of blood coming out of you. When mixed with vaginal discharge, it will look brown. If it's happening during your period, then you should not worry about it. I start by recommending that you see a doctor if your discharge appears to be a strange color. For example, if your discharge is green, this is not something you would expect on your pants. There are cases where green discharge or yellow discharge or sometimes even bluish discharge can be indicative of an infection, and typically we're referring to sexually transmitted infections or STIs over here. When you see a discharge of green or yellow color, you should go to the doctor. Along with this, you should also be aware of the other kind of discharge to look out for. The first thing you need to be careful about is if your discharge smells or looks like food. If your discharge smells or looks like dye or curd, we call this condition Curdy white discharge. It is important to take care of a Curdy white discharge because it might indicate a fungal infection. A fungal infection will usually cause itching, and you will want to sit around all day. Besides this, we're also afraid of food discharge smelling like fish, which is described as having an odor, since we failed all of our chemistry classes as well. If your discharge smells fishy or even metallic in some cases, or if you do not remember what ammonia smells like, then you may have an ammonia leak. If you notice this, but your doctor can examine your vagina to determine if there is a change in the pH, which we describe as bacterial vaginosis. Technically, it basically means that all the healthy, flourishing bacteria that's supposed to live happily in your vaginal tract is flourishing there. To make sure you don't miss our videos when you subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell icon. There's nothing worse than having bacteria growing in your body.